Let me ask you this, Candace Owens. The Democrats are all over the place saying we need to pass election reform. And if you don't pass what we want you to pass, it's like Jim Crow. You want to oppress black people. If you don't vote for $1.9 trillion in massive spending that our children and grandchildren are going to have to deal with in some impoverished way, then again, you must oppose equality, you must oppose economic justice. They steal the language, and I feel they particularly use minorities, and most of all, African Americans, as cover for the radical agenda. What do you think?
I think you are absolutely right, and I cannot have said this enough over the last 4 years. It really has been my mission and my purpose to make sure Black Americans and all minorities in this country recognize that. I feel that the Democrat Party represents Black America like plantation owners represented slaves. And the irony here being is that the Democrats were the slave owners. They're using language referring to things like Jim Crow. Who was the party that implemented Jim Crow in this country? It was the Democrats, and that's the deep, sinister evil of the Democrat Party, is that they're really just rewriting what they authored in the beginning, right? These were the slave masters, and they understand this system better than anybody else because they wrote it. It is the fabric of the Democrat Party. If you want to look at, and you spoke about so many important things in your monologue, but if you want to look at why they are doing these things to the education system, why they are implementing critical race theory, the answer is very simple. It's because they seek to turn Black Americans into toddlers. They want to make sure that we have no knowledge. It's the same reason, Mark, that they didn't, in part of their slave codes in the South was to make sure that Black Americans were not allowed to learn how to read. They understand that an educated mind cannot be enslaved. So they need to make sure there are no educated minds. What better way to ensure that than to pretend that you're educating Black Americans, but instead you're filling our minds with absolute filth, making us see the world in black and white, right? Telling us that all we should care about is the color of our skin. Don't teach us hard academics, Mark. Don't teach us math, science, chemistry. Don't teach us how to love this country. Teach us how to be hateful, how to be vengeful, how to see nothing but our own race and to say, oh, all you deserve in America is to be outside rioting and looting and taking what's yours, because you know that will never, ever get ahead that way, right? That is the system. We've had so many immigrant groups come to this country and become successful, and yet Black America has not been able to do that. You think that's because of slavery? You think that's because of slavery? Absolutely not. It's because of a new slave system built by the Democrats that is written to the DNA of the welfare system, the attack on the family, which they're now implementing all around America, not just exclusive to Black Americans. And it's because of the education system, which has been absolute garbage. And it makes me so angry that they are still doing this and that they're now broadening their reaches and saying, you know what, not just Black America. Not just Black America, because one part of the thing is that Black Americans, the growth rate population-wise is not significant enough. So now they're bringing in a new class of voters. They're bringing in Hispanic Americans from over the border. Everyone keeps calling this a border crisis. Mark, this isn't a border crisis. This is a border plan. They are trying to import a new class of voters. They are trying to say to the Mexican Americans, to the South Americans that are coming over the border, we will help you. We'll give you free stuff like we gave Black Americans free stuff. And after Jim Crow ended, we're gonna welfareize you. We're gonna give you handouts. We're gonna marry you to the government like we married Black Americans to the government. It's pure evil.